Welcome back, everyone, to the Slot Podcast, episode 13. We are back in week 5 of NFL football. Today is Thursday. We have got a horrible matchup between the medical tent San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams with the number one wide receiver in the NFL. We had another great week last week, some ups, some downs, some big injuries that I know we want to discuss. And yeah, got another really competitive week this week as well. I took a look at the games, and it seems like it's a lot of really good games between teams with similar records, which I think could be really interesting. But I'll let Adam take over from here and kind of jump into what we're gonna go over today.
Yeah, first we're gonna jump into kind of last week, just go over some of the games that went down and some things that it's kind of surprising. I mean, going into this season, who expected the Chiefs to be 2-2? Who expected the Jaguars to be 3-1? I mean, we're seeing some pretty big upsets all around the league this year. I mean, the Giants, they got their first win on people. I mean, people were saying they're going to go 0-17, which I was not really against that. I mean, if you look at their schedule, it's probably one of the toughest in the league, especially considering how bad that Giants team is. But yeah, other than that, I mean, NFC North is still looking like one of the best divisions in football. Each team either has a tied record or a winning record. And we had a crazy game between the Packers and the Cowboys. You wanna break down to the people if they don't know what happened? How did that game end?
The game ended with Matt LaFleur just being scared, if I'm going to be honest with you. Like, you're in a game against the Cowboys, who people don't think very highly of. You are the Packers, a team that people do think very highly of. They had 3 minutes left, and they were at the 50-yard line. And they ended up with a field goal because they ran out of time. To me, that doesn't make sense for, quote unquote, one of the best offenses in the NFL. And I think this is why we constantly continue to undervalue the Packers and Jordan Love, especially because how does that not get done? Like, we're talking about the most porous defense in the NFL too. This is not like we're not playing against the Browns here, the Rams here, the Bucks here. This is the Cowboys, who give up, I believe, about around 35 points a game. I don't know
Yeah,
what
Dak
what
Dak
do you think?
Prescott leads
Yeah.
Dak Prescott leads the league in or the Cowboys offense leads the league in yards, I believe. Dak Prescott currently has the most yards for any QB in the NFL, but their defense has allowed the most yards. I think they've allowed the most points. I mean, if you look back at some of their games, I think they put up 40 and the Giants had 40. That went to overtime.
Yep.
The Packers, that game was 40-40. So I mean, from two games alone, that's 80 points that you allowed. I mean, to be fair, you scored 80 points too, but had we worked on the defense, maybe I don't know, maybe if the Cowboys had an elite edge rusher, I don't know. I don't know how much that could contribute to them, but it's almost like if they had someone that would just be a key and vital point person to their defense, someone like an edge rusher. I'm kind of blanking on who that would be, but if they had someone like that, maybe they'd be doing a little bit better in terms of defense.
I can think of a guy who actually stopped the Cowboys from winning last week. Mr. Micah Parsons made a great tackle on Dak Prescott, which it would have been a touchdown. Like, that was a walk-in touchdown,
100%.
shoestring tackle by Micah Parsons. And yeah, Jerry Jones, where you at? I mean, this is the defensive player you were looking for. This is the guy. But that's okay because the Packers have one of the best defenses of football, and the Cowboys have one of the worst. So it's all good, Jerry. Keep doing what you're doing.
The Packers have one of the best defenses as they allow 40 points. Like, come on.
Yeah, that too. Like, I
I'm not
I don't
I'm
know
not
what happened there.
I'm heavy slandering the Packers right now because I'm not gonna sit here and listen to people talk about, oh, they have the best defense. You just allowed 40 points. Well, my Seahawks and your Bucks are averaging considerably less and are performing considerably much better. Like it's
100%.
just insane. There's always bias towards certain teams that have been doing good. I mean, the Packers haven't been to the Super Bowl since A-Rod. Like, what are we talking about, man?
Anyways, yeah, that was such a disappointing way to end off the week. It was just so annoying, but it is what it is. Sorry, end
Yeah,
off the Sunday.
yeah. Other than that, I mean, all the games were the ones that kind of surprised me was Falcons over the Commanders. I mean, you could have saw that coming, but because I think Jaden Daniels was still out for that game. But I mean, what a bounce back week from Michael Penix. I mean, getting shut out from one game and then putting up 34 the next week.
Not
You
only
gotta
just
love
getting
it.
shut out, he got shut out by Bryce Young.
Yeah, I mean
It's
that's insane.
unacceptable in today's day and age.
Another game I want to talk about, Giants Chargers, man. Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo. We got the exciting whites going crazy, man. This, I
It's
mean,
no longer the
this is looking.
Eagles with the exciting whites. It's the
Yeah,
Giants.
they got dethroned easily because Jackson Dart just took it over Justin Herbert's head. I mean, Justin Herbert looked pretty. I wouldn't say he looked bad, but
He
it's
was
not
just
what
so
we expect.
irresponsible with the ball.
It's not what we expect from Justin Herbert. I mean, Justin Herbert, you want to see a certain level of play because we want to see Justin Herbert in that top five QB category. So if we're not seeing that top five level play, this is going to be the result. You're going to end up losing to teams that you definitely should not have lost to. I mean, there's no reason to lose to the Giants. I mean, Malik Neighbors was literally out in the first quarter. That's pretty much their only receiving target besides Wan'Dale Robinson. So other than that, I mean, that's just very disappointing performance for all three of the Chargers fans out there. Um, Next up, this is probably one of the last matchups I'll cover. We got the Chiefs over the Ravens. Lamar Jackson went down with an injury, and that game was, I mean, wow. That game was very surprising. I think in the third quarter it was 27-7. So it was they were getting blown out of the water. And I mean, we're just seeing why Patrick Mahomes has been in the top of all QB conversations for as long as he's been. I mean, he's you could tell these losses are very much messing with his head. I mean, he's out for blood. I said this for the beginning of the season for week one. I said that he was going to beat the Chargers. He lost, but I think now he's kind of getting back into his rhythm, kind of finding his spot. Because I mean, we all know that Patrick Mahomes has been one of, if not the best QBs in the league for his entire reign. I mean, he's been going through playoffs, he's been going to Super Bowls, he's been winning Super Bowls, and we're gonna see him coming back. So I think the Chiefs are gonna start to look a little bit scarier now just because of Patrick Mahomes' performance.
Yeah, I think it's scary hours for the Chiefs completely. I don't even think they're going to look a little scary. And this is exactly what I was talking about at the beginning of the season. I fully expected them to go 0-2. I think I had said that. So far, I've gotten I had the first three games right for the Chiefs. I picked Baltimore last week because I thought Lamar looked more ready in the weeks beforehand, but I was wrong. So Chiefs come away 2-2, and now is where the run really starts because now Xavier Worthy's back. You get Rashee Rice back literally next week, or sorry, the week after that. I think the Chiefs are on full go mode, and this is when people are going to start to see the Chiefs emerge as a Super Bowl candidate once again, which I don't see why they shouldn't have been considered a Super Bowl candidate beforehand. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about with Patrick Mahomes, and when Rashee Rice comes back and becomes that intermediate guy who can also make plays on the outside, just the all-around receiver that he is, it's gonna get real scary for other teams. So I'm very excited for Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, big game against the Ravens. I really didn't think they were gonna pull it off, but this Ravens defense is absolutely ridiculously horrible. Like, let's just look at their last couple of games. They have given up now. 37 to the Chiefs, 38 to the Lions, 41 to the Ravens, 41 to the Bills. That means they're averaging about 39 to 40 points given up per game. And luckily, they got a good matchup this week against the Texans, where I think this is kind of a make it or break it week for the Ravens, even though Lamar is not there. I mean, do you want to start your season 1-4 or 2-3? I mean,
See, to me, this is like you said, this is purely on the defense. I mean, we see Lamar Jackson doing his thing. I mean, Derrick Henry had a few bad fumbles. There were a few bad plays on the offense, but at the end of the day, when your opponents are putting up like 30, 40 points, you can't blame that on the offense, especially when they lose. You gotta shift more of the blame to the defense because you guys are supposed to be elite. I mean, before the season started, had you in top five conversations. People were saying you're the best defense in the league.
I mean,
And
think
now we're
about
out
it.
here.
But think about their defense. It's Starks, Wiggins, Humphrey, and what's his name?
Roquan Smith.
Um, Madubuike, Roquan Smith. Like, there's so many pieces. Maybe they're just not working together well. I don't know.
I mean, you got to. if I'm a fan, I'm questioning my players' abilities. I'm questioning my coaching. I'm questioning everything about this team because this defense. I mean, they've been dominant for a while now. I mean, they're like you had Lamar Jackson. Okay, cool. That was kind of the focal point of the offense. But what really carried this Baltimore team for the past couple of years was their defense.
Yeah, and you wonder if it's more of a John Harbaugh issue or a personnel issue in terms of the players itself.
Yeah.
But it's like we got to look at
Ah,
someone.
you know what it is? It's a lack of Mike McDonald, bro. Do you remember when the 49ers played the Ravens in 2023 and they absolutely destroyed the 49ers who would
No.
end up going to the Super Bowl? That was probably one of the best defensive. Brock Purdy had at least 4 to 5 picks. I can't remember how many he had, but that was just a pure defensive masterclass. The defense absolutely carried that game. And that was because of Mike McDonald. And now he's doing the same thing in Seattle. Seattle has not allowed a rushing touchdown. I feel like I think we're in the top five for fewest yards allowed per game, probably fewest points. We've only allowed 67 points in 4 weeks. I mean, this I have Mike McDonald being my coach of the year, and that's not coming from a biased standpoint. But you we can we
Yeah, y'all see that too. No, I'm joking. I mean, I agree with you. Mike McDonald is one of the elite coaches, and so I mean, I would consider John Harbaugh to be an elite coach as well. But we got to just see more. And also, I think the offensive play calling has been pretty sad. Like it's just there was a time I think they had first and goal at the one, and they didn't run the ball with Derrick Henry a single time for four straight downs. They got stopped at the one. I forget which week this was. It was one of the first 4 weeks. Like we're not going to run Derrick Henry at the goal line? I
nah, but even if you don't want to run Derrick Henry, who's your quarterback?
Yeah, now who's your quarterback? Yeah.
Like who's your quarterback? That's the most mobile guy in the league. That's the most QB in the league.
All
Mobile
right, who
Q
do
most
the
God, I cannot speak. The most mobile QB in the league, one of the best running backs in the league, especially considering his age. And you're still not gonna score at the 1 yard line, dude. There's some serious questions to be answered by the Ravens. Now, if you're a fan, I'm not going to say the panic meter is that high. I mean, I'd still say this team is very solid. It is week 5, so if they're going to figure things out, they're going to figure it out now with a backup. And I think that if they're going to beat the Texans, they're going to have to rely on their defense because we've seen the Texans offense really hasn't done too much. Their defense was really the main focal point of all their games, even though they still lost. But I mean, this is going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I think for me, if I was a Ravens fan, the panic meter I'll decide after this weekend because if the Ravens can win this weekend, they go to 2-3. They face the Rams the week after. I don't expect Lamar to be back the next week. I expect Lamar to be back after the week 7 bye, which is the game against the Bears. So if you start the season 1-5 as a Ravens fan, I'm panicking. I'm panicking, right? I
100%.
I mean, you
100%.
start the season 1-5. You got the Bears, you got the Dolphins, so maybe you get 2 wins out of there. You're 3-5. November looks pretty easy. So this is kind of crazy, man. The Ravens have a really easy schedule the rest of the way. Whoa. I mean, all right. So let's think about the way that they started. Let's rewind a little bit. They started with the Bills. Started with the Browns. Browns was a win. Then the Lions and then the Chiefs. So, maybe I'm not panicking after this weekend if I'm a Ravens fan. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm not panicking. I think that
They did have a really tough stretch of opponents to start off the season.
yeah.
But I mean, well, what does that do for morale? What does that do for your team? If you go, what are they? Oh, 1-3 right now?
Yeah.
If they lose this week, they go 1-4. I mean, as a team, I feel like the internal aspects of the team are gonna start to fall apart. People are gonna start having questions. People are gonna start getting mad, especially with the amount of superstars on that team. They're gonna question if this is the team they want to play for in the future, if their coaching can't figure it out, if their teammates can't figure it out. And maybe you see some of them requesting trades or anything like that. Because we know what happens when people get to a high level, their team gets to a high level, and then they don't end up they can't break past that certain point. And right now that's playoffs for the Ravens. So I mean, you might see
Okay.
some of these superstars trying to leave eventually.
But
I'm not going to say they're going to leave now, but
At the same time, all right, let's look at their division. Bengals, Browns, and Steelers. What is the Steelers' current record? The Steelers are 3-1.
3-1.
So that's something to worry about. But can I just read off to you the rest of their games? So we got Texans and Rams, right? So say they start 1-5. They got the Bears, which they can win. Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals, no Joe Burrow. That's potentially six in a row right there for the Ravens with Lamar.
That's true.
And then we got Steelers. Okay, maybe you lose to the Steelers, right? It's a divisional rival. That's a big game. That Sunday, December 7th is a huge game for the Ravens. But then the Bengals again after that, again, still no Joe Burrow. Patriots, Packers, and he closed it out with the Steelers. I think that the Ravens could finish above 10 wins still this year, even if they lose this week. I think that they could. It's potential.
Just off hearing it, I'm thinking maybe 2 to 3 losses in
Okay,
the
so
remaining
that put them
schedule.
at 9 or 10 wins.
If we're not counting, so I heard Packers and I heard Steelers. Those are 100%. I think those could go in against the Ravens. And then you said Rams. I think the Rams would take that. So that's 3 losses. I think they'll beat the Texans. So they'd be
That puts
sitting
them
at
at
what, 11-6,
they would be sitting at 10-7.
10-7. Yeah. So I mean, it just depends on these next couple weeks are going to be crucial. And like you said, that game against the Steelers, that is going to be the make or break. That's going to decide everything for them.
Well, their last game of the season is also against the Steelers, and that could be a a matchup for the division. But all right, I guess we'll see where the Ravens are at on December 7th.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into our week 5 schedule predictions. I already posted my TikTok about this. I think earlier this morning, whenever this episode drops. So I'll just quickly speed run through my predictions. I got the Rams over the Niners, Vikings over Browns. I got Giants over Saints, Eagles over Broncos, Ravens over Texans, Colts over Raiders, Cowboys over Jets, Dolphins over Panthers, Seahawks over Bucks, Cardinals over Titans, Lions over Bengals, Chargers over Commanders, Bills over Patriots, and Jaguars over the Chiefs.
That's solid. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait.
I knew that last one was going to get you.
I thought you just said that Patrick Mahomes is back. I thought we're back to
I
believing
did
in
say
my
that.
guy.
I did say that, but I mean, you know me, I love taking an upset. And this is the upset. Like I see this matchup, I'm like, the Jags could wait. The Jags could take it. I mean, that's what I see when I see the matchup. I don't know about you, but I like this Jags teams. I mean, they're 3-1. They're 3-1. You could say they had an easy schedule, but even still, that's some momentum for a
I
team that
can't
hasn't
blame
had
you for picking
momentum.
them, but I'm definitely not going to pick the Jags over Mahomes and
But
Worthy
okay, listen,
together.
if you give a team that hasn't had momentum in a while and give them some good momentum. This is 3-1. I can't remember the last time I saw the
I
Jags
don't
going three
consider
and
this
one.
good momentum for the Jags. This passing game is so bad. Bro,
Okay, but
it's
they
so
have time to
bad.
figure it out. They have time to figure it out. And not only that, I mean, their defense is looking solid, and they just beat undefeated Niners. That's 100% going to be a morale boost for this team. And I think Brock Purdy was in that game. I can't remember. So even if he wasn't, it's still an undefeated team that you took down as a well, I think it was 2-1 team. So I mean, I like this upset. I could see it happening. It most likely won't, but that's my prediction.
It's kind of crazy because the Jags are fully set for a playoff spot as of right now. They have the number one
Hmm.
wild card spot. If they win this week against the Chiefs, we have to start considering the Jags for a potential playoff spot. Crazy to say, not what I would have expected. I mean, we have teams. I mean, the Ravens are currently 12th, so I don't know. All right, let me run through my
Yeah,
list as well. All right, so for week 5 of the NFL, I've got the Los Angeles Rams tonight. I got the Cleveland Browns over the Minnesota Vikings overseas. I've got the Dallas Cowboys over the New York Jets. I've got the New Orleans Saints, first win of Spencer Rattler's career against the New York Giants this week. Indianapolis Colts over the Raiders. I have got the Dolphins over the Bryce Young led Panthers. The Eagles over the Broncos. I have the Ravens over the Texans. The Cardinals over the Titans. Easily the Bucks over the Seahawks. I got Lions over Bengals, Chargers over Commanders, Bills over Pats, and Jags over Chiefs. I,
Yeah,
I,
I
I said
think
I said Browns over Mini, right? Yeah, I did. Okay.
you just said Jags over Chiefs.
I lied, guys. I'm not picking what Adam's picking. I'm picking the Chiefs over the Jaguars because the MVP resides in Kansas City, but he's not going to win MVP this year. I call him MVP because he's my MVP. Super Bowl MVP,
Oh,
Super Bowl
that's cute.
2026.
That's
Patrick
cute.
Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Uh, I think that's the only game. I mean the Giants are easily taking that. I
Well,
think
no,
we
let's talk
disagreed.
Browns Vikings. There's no way you pick the Vikings. I mean, the Browns.
Listen, listen. I mean, Carson Wentz had a good game a couple weeks ago. He had a bad game too. So I mean, if we're looking at pattern recognition here, one good game, one bad game. What's next? It's another good game. And this is me coping because I messed up on my picks. I already made the TikTok. I can't switch up now. So I'm sticking with the Vikings. I'm sticking with the Vikes. You know, it's a skull this week, I guess, bro. I mean, I don't like it, but it's whatever. Because dude, the Browns defense is looking really good. I
Oh,
mean,
dude, I told you, bro. This is the best
yeah,
defense
this is
in the
what you said.
league.
This is I wouldn't go as far as to say that, but they've been
So
looking
who's
good. I
number
mean, Miles,
one? And
oh, the
don't say the
Seahawks.
Seahawks.
See, come on, bro. You know it's the Seahawks. It's the Seahawks or the Bucks, bro. Come on.
All right, we could put them
It's
both in
one.
top five, but they're not number one. The Browns are the number one defense through everything. Do you know how many yards they give up per carry?
Let me see. Let me hear it.
2.7. Bro, can you
Dude, that's what
imagine
happens when you
Jordan
have
Mason
Miles
walking
Garrett,
in
bro.
there? Jordan
Wow.
Mason's gonna get cooked.
You know
Take
what?
the
Just for that,
under on
I'm
Jordan
starting him.
Mason.
I'm starting him in fantasy just for that.
That's your funeral, my brother.
I'm gonna start him in fantasy just for you, buddy.
All right. I got Browns. He got Vikings. The Dylan Gabriel show is here, and I don't think it's gonna
Ooh,
look good. But I
I think
do
he'll look
think
good. Come on.
I I'm not I no, I don't think it's gonna look good, but I don't think it's gonna look as like robotic as Joe Flacco does. Literally, if this was Joe Flacco like 5 years ago, I would say don't start Dylan Gabriel at all. But it's
Oh,
Joe Flacco when
100%.
he's 40 years old. So it's gonna look less robotic. I'm hoping Judkins gets more touches, but he already gets a lot of touches. I just think this Browns defense is going to completely overwhelm Carson Wentz. I just don't think he's ready for the kind of pressure they're going to bring. And Justin Jefferson's going to have a good game again. Like he will still have a good game. They're just not going to win the game.
I mean, this offense is just gonna completely rely on Jeff. See, here's the thing. I believe in the Vikings defense to take care of business, and I
That's true.
believe in the Browns defense to take care of business because they both showed us that. I mean, they can
Yeah.
perform. Like they can be very very solid. I forgot which Vikings player it was, but he had the best PFF performance as a cornerback
Come on,
in NFL
bro.
history.
You don't know who it
I'm blanking
was?
on his name. I'm blanking on his name.
That's the GOAT, man. That's Isaiah Rodgers, the champion,
Mm.
former Philadelphia Eagle, traded for a fifth round pick. Isaiah Rodgers, two forced fumbles and an interception, pick six to the crib. I don't think you can ask for much more out of a defensive player. Nonetheless,
That's way
he's
more
not
than
going to
you
make
could
it.
ask for. At most, from a defensive player, you can ask for maybe a fumble, maybe a interception. What was it? Two interceptions and a forced
Two
fumble.
two forced fumbles and an interception. One forced fumble was for a touchdown, and the interception was a pick six. Two
Yeah,
touchdowns,
so
three turnovers created. That's
that's
nuts.
literally way better than the best possible. That's like he surpassed the best possible scenario for a cornerback. That is every person who has played the position of cornerback has had at least 3 to 5 dreams about that exact stat
That
line.
exact game. Yep, 100%. And the Eagles gave up on him. That was the big thing. They said, "Look, we think you're good, but you're worth a fifth round pick apparently, so we're going to ship you off." I mean, fifth round pick. Name
This
a
is
name
a
a fifth round pick from this year.
uh
Exactly.
wait, hold on. Give me Dylan Gabriel. Fifth round, right?
Nope.
Third?
He was a third round pick. Fifth round pick
I'm
would be
trying to-
Shador Sanders, my GOAT. I'm pretty sure Ahmed Hassanein from the Lions was drafted in the fifth round.
There,
He
there's something
was
I was
he
gonna
was
say.
cut, unfortunately, my namesake. Shout out my dog. He won't
Jeez.
get it back in blood.
Bro, he
Um,
was the first, bro. They cut him for like no reason, bro. I'm pretty sure he was the first like what was it like Iranian player or whatever. I don't know wherever country he's from.
yeah, he was Iranian Christian. So I guess they cut him though. So yeah. Anyways, on to the next game. What you got for me?
Sure. I mean, other than that, there's not really any possible upsets. I mean, we could run back Seahawks Bucks. I mean, come on, we could run it back.
What do you want to say, bro? Say what you want to
What,
say.
dude? I'm gonna say everything I need to say, bro. Seahawks defense has been elite. We've only allowed 67 pass yards. Like, I mean, or no, 67 points. My bad. Sam Darnold has been looking great. I mean, you can't deny that. He's been looking like arguably a top 10 quarterback this season. I already said defense. JSN, greatest wide receiver in the league, greatest wide receiver in NFL history. We already know this. And then, I mean, there's nothing else that you could really say. I mean, the Bucks are missing a couple of players too. They're missing Mike Evans. Missing Bucky Irving. I mean, that's definitely going to be pretty rough for them because we have not allowed a rushing touchdown this season. And now you think Rashad White's going to get a rushing touchdown? Yo, don't make me bring up all the times you were clowning on Rashad White. You hate Rashad White. Don't even say that. You, you have never said anything positive about Rashad White in your life. And now he's going against my team, you want to gas him up.
I personally, I've never said anything bad about Rashad White. Rashad, if you're hearing this, I think you're a great NFL starting running back, and I
That's
low
not
key
what he
think they
said.
probably shouldn't even have drafted Bucky because you're so good. So shout out my dog Rashad White. Now that I've given my biased take, let me give my unbiased take. The Bucks are missing some key players in this one, and Benjamin Morrison might not play, and another one of our corners might not play. Bucky's not playing. Mike's not playing. I don't know. It's a lot of downsides to this Buccaneers offense, and the Seahawks defense does look good. With that being said, I have the Bucks coming away with it 24-21 for the simple reason that Baker just gets it done, man. He didn't get it done last week. He did not get it done last week. But in games that Baker had needs to come through, he does. He's operating like a top five quarterback. Sam Darnold top 10 all the way at the bottom. But Baker Mayfield is looking like a top five quarterback this season. Emeka Egbuka is looking like a top 10 wide receiver. I'm not saying that'll continue, but another thing is that Chris Godwin looked good last week. Like, yes, he didn't bring in a lot of his targets, but the routes that he ran looked great. And yeah, overall, he looked solid. So I think that the Bucks are gonna come away with this one, but it's gonna be a lot closer than I was hoping for because we're missing so many key players.
Yeah, see that's the thing with me. Like this is coming from unbiased. Realistically, this game is going to be so close.
Hmm.
This game is going to come down to a field goal or safety or something, just
I
something
mean, it
so
always does.
random.
It always does with the Bucks. I don't know about
That's
Seahawks
what's
though.
going to happen
Yeah.
because I mean, it's just like this is two teams who are kind of in the same position right now. In terms of they're both like we were trading about around that mid category for the past
Yep.
couple of years, and now we're starting to reach into that like, okay, maybe these teams are actually really good or they're just like above average. Because
Hmm.
you cannot say that either of these teams are mid anymore. I mean, we have been nothing but mediocre. So I mean, that's just the reality of it. I mean, this is going to get really close. I'd say it's either going to be very high scoring or very low scoring. It's going to be a 13 to 14 or maybe a 10 to 14 or a 24 to whatever. I don't know. You get what I'm saying. It's going to be very close.
I'm just looking at the Seahawks schedule, bro, and this is a good outlook for the Seahawks at least. Like we have after the Bucks. Bucks, you can say either way. We don't know who's going to win that game, but I think you could argue it either way, right? So say the
Yeah.
Seahawks go to 4-1. Then they got the Jags next. I fully expect them to beat the Jags. That would put them at 5-1, 6-1 when they play the Texans the week after that. You put the
Mhm.
Seahawks at 6-1. I looked a little bit further than that, but then there's a bunch of toss-ups. There's Commanders, Rams, um, the Colts is a
Commanders is
toss-up,
not a
Rams
toss up.
again.
Let's be real. Commanders is not a toss
No,
up.
I think
That's
at full health though, the Commanders are a toss-up. That's the thing. I mean, Jaden
I don't
Daniels
think so at
parity.
all.
Jalen Lane. Shout out my dog Jalen Lane, who's gonna have an insane game this week. We didn't talk about the Commanders much, but shout out my dog Jalen Lane. Um, Good schedule for the Seahawks. Um,
Yeah, I mean, we played the AFC South and the NFC South. So, I mean, AFC South by itself is at least four confirmed wins.
all right, last game that I want to jump into: Kansas City Chiefs versus Jacksonville Jaguars. I want to know your reasoning. Why are the Jags gonna beat the Chiefs this
We
week?
already went over this.
Yeah, but we didn't go like, all right, yeah, I mean, we could leave it at that. I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, I think we need to
This
divulge into
is
why Mahomes is the MVP
th-
once again.
my listen, my reasoning for Jags over Chiefs is purely because I want that upset. I mean, if you're looking at it, if you're looking at that, you're obviously going to take the Chiefs, but I don't think like the average human being. So I could be completely wrong, and I most likely will. I mean, I'd say there's a 20% chance that the Jags come away with this win, but I still think they will. I mean, I like the momentum they have, and I want to see it keep going. I mean, we haven't seen the Jags do good in a while, and I want to see this happening. We're seeing a complete shift in the AFC South. We're seeing the Texans downfall,
Colts and
which is
Jags up
crazy to
top.
say. Colts and Jags on top, and they're tied for 3-1. Like, who could have thought? And it's looking like the Colts will be 4-1, and then the Jags will maybe go to 3-2. The Texans will probably lose, so I think that's 1-4. The Titans, I mean, that's another toss up. I mean, they could either go what is it, 1-4 or 0-5. And if Cam Ward goes 0-5 in his first five starts, I'm saying he retires, comes back next season, joins another team.
That's what I wanted to ask about. Well, personally, I think that Cam Ward's going to walk away with his first win this week, but potentially going to walk away with it. I picked Arizona because that's the more realistic thing. I think Cam Ward's
Yeah.
potentially walking away with his first win this weekend, but if he doesn't, what's the plan with the Titans?
Listen, I love Cam Ward, so I am not putting any of the blame on him. Okay. Cam Ward is not the reason this team has zero success. It's they're literally playing Calvin Ridley's playing with his corpse out there. Like he's not doing anything. Okay. The receivers are not doing anything. The coaching is horrible. So it's gonna look like the Bears from last year, where they fired their head coach in the middle of the season. Their Whoever their coordinator is gonna come step up, maybe win them one or two games, and then they're gonna find someone else in the offseason. That's 100% what's gonna happen. Because I mean, if you're looking at this Texans situation or Titans situation, this is not any QB. There's no QB fault here. This is 100% front office fault. Like this is just poor management, poor coaching, poor play calling, and just all around it's all on the front office.
Yeah, I agree. They did not put a good team around him, and now they're seeing why that's not the best idea. But we see a lot of teams do this. I mean, the only way you get the first overall pick is if your team is that horribly bad, right? So every number one overall pick knows what situation they're walking into, and this is why I have always said you do not draft a quarterback with the number one overall pick, no matter who you are. I mean, unless your team has a solid backing. Let's go back to the last couple first overall picks. We got Bryce Young, we got Caleb Williams, we got Cam Ward, all thrown into horrible situations. Now,
Joe
Caleb
Burrow,
Williams, Joe Burrow, also thrown into a horrible situation. Now, all these situations had to look. Let's look at Caleb Williams. It's finally improved, but what did it take? A revamp of the entire offensive line, a whole
100%. Yeah.
new receiving core, a whole new head coaching lineup. Like that's crazy. That's actually nuts. Um, so I don't know. I mean, I think that in my opinion, I thought the Titans should have traded back or used the pick on Travis Hunter. In my opinion, I thought Travis Hunter was the pick at number one. Um, but I don't know. I
No, I
guess
disagree. I disagree because listen,
Abdul
your team
Carter.
start
Abdul Carter was the pick at number one. Sorry, not Travis Hunter. Continue.
listen, your team starts with a QB. You can't start a good team without the QB. And I mean, you mentioned the Bears. They already had a solid foundation. It only took them 1 year to kind of
That's
revamp
fair,
it
yeah.
and upgrade their team. So the Titans is going to be similar, but it's going to take a lot longer. It's going to take at least three to
It's
four
just the
years.
convincing people to come to Tennessee. Like that's what the Bears did. They convinced people to come to
But
Chicago. What's the selling point in
here's
Tennessee?
Tennessee's. They're going to have to rely on money. I mean, that's what it's going to have to be. You're going
That's
to have to
it.
drop bags on players. I mean, they already have L'Jarius Sneed. and I think they have Travarius Ward. No, he's on the Colts, but they have L'Jarius Sneed. So their cornerbacks, they're set. They're set on that. I think right now what they need is to focus a little more on They need to focus slightly on defense and then shift everything else to the offense. They need O line, they need receivers, and they need a running back. They need
They need a running
everything
back
to give.
bad.
They need to just formulate this whole team around Cam Ward because that's what the Bears did for Caleb Williams. They gave
Yeah.
him everything he
They
needed,
handed
and
him a
everyone's
team. Yeah.
exactly. They said, "Listen, this is your team. We're gonna give you this team. You're in charge of just figuring it out and figuring out how you want to manage this team,
Yeah.
how you want to control this team, and how you want to take them forward." And the Titans need to do that with Cam Ward because I don't want to see his career get wasted away on a buns team like this.
Maybe he just has to paint his nails. Maybe that works, you know. All right. Good wrap up. I want to go over some fantasy football smash starts that I have for this week. So I'm just going to run through mine really quickly. At quarterback, Matt Stafford tonight against the San Francisco 49ers. Jared Goff versus the Bengals, huge game. And Daniel Jones versus the Las Vegas Raiders. For running backs, I got Devon Achane versus the Panthers, Jahmyr Gibbs also versus the Bengals, and Quinshawn Judkins against the Minnesota Vikings, who give up 150 rush yards per game. Crazy. At wide receiver, we got Puka Nacua tonight. Man, I'm starting everyone in this game for the Rams, by the way. Garrett Wilson versus Dallas, the most porous defense in the entire league. Amon-Ra St. Brown versus the Bengals, starting every single Lions player in that game as well.
Take that
Go ahead.
CMC over. Take that CMC over. He's the only
Take that
target
CMC
today.
over. He's going crazy tonight. At tight end, I got Trey McBride versus the Titans, Sam Laporta versus the Bengals, Tyler Warren versus Vegas, and some rookies who I think are going to have a great week this week. Travion Henderson versus the Buffalo Bills, Woody Marks versus Baltimore, Eli Ayamena versus the Cardinals, and Mason Taylor versus the Cowboys.
I
Um,
like that.
yeah, solid picks.
I think that pretty much clears everything we're talking about.
Yeah, I think we could wrap it up here. It was another solid episode, and we'll be back next week with week 5 reactions and week 6 picks. Thanks you guys for listening.